Welcome back to Going Into Detail. I'm here today with Tara Prasad. Tara, how has your summer and your off season been going?
I would say it's going good in terms of improvement because I've made few changes to the way I execute some of the elements. So it's been a little bit difficult getting used to it, but I hope it pays off in the near future. So yes.
So like working on technique for the jumps, is that for other things as well?
Yes, I have changed the way I like some of the entrances of some of my jumps, and then I have also worked on the technique to make them more consistent.
Hmm.
I've also learned three new spins, and
Oh, wow.
spins are like the most challenging thing for me. So that's been a bit challenging, but I've made a lot of improvements, I think.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know you were dealing with some injuries last year. Are you feeling recovered now?
Well, I actually I had to deal with another injury in June with
Mm,
my ankle and my right shin because I'm really prone to getting shin splints. So that kind of put a little bit of a setback in my training. But I think right now I've recovered from that and it feels good to be able to train again. So,
yeah.
yes.
So I wanted to ask, so people get to know you a little bit, how you got into skating and what drew you to this sport.
I actually don't remember because my parents told me that I got on the ice once and then I wanted to go back. So I don't even remember because I was younger. I was 7 years old. But up until the age of 13, I was just doing it for fun. So I wasn't really, I mean, I would go to a little bit of competitions, but I wouldn't really do like that much of training. Like I'd skate maybe an hour a day. But then when I was 13, I really actually wanted to be good.
Hmm.
So then after that, I actually didn't get any triple jumps until I was 21.
Oh,
I did go through a growth spurt and I got a double axel and I got close to one triple. And then I had a really bad injury on my ankle and I had to start over again with doubles when I was 20. So I pretty much feel like I only had a career in the last 3 years, but I'm glad that I got here.
yeah. I mean, that's amazing. It seems like you've really been improving a lot the last few seasons, and it
Yeah.
goes to show that you don't have to have all of your triples by the time you're 13 or something in order to be
Yeah.
successful.
I mean, I will say that I see younger kids and kids who are a lot smaller than me learning stuff, I guess, at a faster pace or with much more ease than me. But if you want to have some struggle, you can do it. But you just have to accept that it may be more difficult.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What were some of the highlights of the last season for you?
I think that the biggest highlight was the four continents because even though I was not happy with my program, I think the audience really, really loved it. And I have still like that big bag of like stuffed animals that's in my closet and I want to keep those forever because it's the first time that I got so many. So I think that was the highlight of the year was the long program of four continents last year. Yes.
Uh, Yeah, it was great. It was so nice to see. I mean, you had great programs last year, and the audience really appreciated it. And I remember you coming into the mix zone afterwards with your coach had like it was like Santa Claus with the sack of toys. Your coach had the big bag of all of the stuffed animals. But yeah, that was a great moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because I got off the ice and then my coach gave me this big trash bag and I'm like, what is this? And she's like, this is for you. This is all the stuffed animals. And I was like, what? No way.
That's so funny.
Yes.
Um, and so that was your second time at Four Continents, and you improved a lot, I think, from 20th to
Yeah.
14th place. So that was it was also a competitive highlight too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was also really ill because that whole week I had 100 degrees fever.
Ooh.
It wasn't COVID, but it was just a cold. But like the first practice of four continents, like I couldn't land really any jumps. So I was just glad that I finished the program and made it to the end. I mean, I was kind of struggling at the end, but I was also kind of frustrated because I wanted to feel really good and do my best, and it wasn't, but I'm glad the audience loved it. So that was the best part.
Yeah, even when the jumps don't go well, it's always so clear that you're how much like thought and intention you're putting behind all of your choreography. And I think the audience also really responds to that.
Yes.
So what are some of your goals for this coming season?
Well, the first goal, I guess, every season is to qualify for a Worlds because I've proven to myself that if I can put a good free program, I can exceed the minimums. But short program, it's kind of a challenge. So that is the goal every year. So that would be the number one goal for this year. The other goal was to put a triple combo, but in my programs, but I guess more consistently because I have done it, but it's a bit inconsistent. So I haven't had it solid enough to do it at every competition. So that would be the second goal. And I started working on triple axel as well. But that is not, it's going good. Like I'm making a progress on it, but that's more of a long-term goal than this season goal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of women who train in Colorado Springs who have triple axel, so that must also be inspiring to see that other people are learning that too.
Yes, and I watch Amber Glenn do triple axel all the time, and she's also my age, and she's also my height, and her jump is like the most beautiful jump. Every time I see it, I'm like, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Well, I'm excited for all of those developments. You're very much not the only person that I've talked to who's has that situation of getting the minimums for the free skate and then the short program being a challenge. And there definitely have been some people saying that maybe the minimums are too high for the worlds. Do you think that that's set at too high of a level?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, ISU will put whatever regulation they want, and it's up to us to meet it. So I don't know if you can say it's too high or too low, in my opinion. I mean, I know everybody will feel how they feel, but to me, it's just I guess, an objective goal that I have to keep working towards. So I just focus on that because if I think it's too high and then it stresses me out too much and then I let the feelings get in the way of training. So I try not to really think about that.
That makes sense. So you announced that your free skate this year is going to be music from the movie RRR. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Actually, I did, and then it was the plan, but I've actually gone back to my previous year's program.
Okay.
And well, I guess everybody in my rink knows that because I do my program, but I am telling you, and they'll probably see it next time I compete.
Yeah.
So that program, I liked the music, and my dress was really cool. Like I made the dress and everything, but I tried it at a local competition, and I felt like my last year's program was a bit better to skate, or I don't know how to put it. It just feels better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've actually gone back to last year's music.
I see. And will you keep the program the same, or are you making changes to it for this season?
I've made some small changes because last year, actually, the program that I showed in the four continents it went through a lot of changes in the last year itself. and it wasn't really like exactly what I wanted, but I kind of had to make some last minute changes. But this year I put a little bit of thought in it because over the summer I have more time. So I've added a different track in the middle section of the program that's actually really important to the story of the film. So I've put that there. And then I've also changed the order of the elements a little bit for, I guess, a better viewing experience, and it improves the intensity because it builds toward the end. So
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's such a dramatic story. I remember you were explaining what the story of the film and the character that you're portraying in it, and it gives such an amazing impression. And also the costume that you made, which I remember that you made that yourself,
Which
or
one? The one
the
from Four
one from
Continents?
last year. Yeah.
That one, yes, because my original costume was red, and that one got lost in Germany. So I had to make like I took an old top that I had, like an old Jubilar top, and I just like cut it up, and then I added like sleeves and everything, and I put the collar on it. And then I have a dressmaker that I know that I use for help to make like base layers of skirts and stuff because I don't have a sewing machine.
Yeah.
So I asked her, can you please make just a base layer of a pink? And she was like, yes. So I'm very thankful for that. So that was like a 3-day thing that I would get from Practice Ice and Four Continents, and I would just come home and I'd be doing the dress for the rest of the day. So like 8 hours a day, I would be working on it and stoning it and fixing it. And thankfully it came out good. But I have both dresses now. And the red one is also usable for this year as well. So now I have
Cool.
2 options.
Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing that one as well. I would never have known that you had pulled it together last minute. It was it's a really beautiful dress, and it goes so well with the program, the one that I saw at Four Continents.
Thank you.
Do you have your short program set as well? Are you able to talk about that?
I can talk about that. Yes. I've changed it from last year, and I'm skating to Cirque du Soleil. And I wanted to use that piece since I guess last year. Like I heard it in the middle of last year, and I was like, I want to use it at some point. So I really like it. And the dress I made for the free program that has been scrapped fits really well for this new music as well. So I can still use that dress. So that's nice.
One of the things that I think is the most impressive about your skating is that you choreograph for yourself. So what is your process like in doing choreography and picking the music, and sort of how do you approach it?
Well, a lot of the stuff is like sometimes I just hear a music and I think that I would be able to skate to it really well. So I keep that in the back of my mind. And then over the year, of course, I'm focused on my current program and training it and everything. But I start thinking about what do I want to skate next year, or what do I want to skate in the next 2 years. So I keep that in the back of my mind because I want to build programs that have actual stories and meanings to them, especially when I use Indian music. Like a lot of people, they use Indian music in a dance sense, which is nice because India has a lot of great dances, but there are also so many stories behind the songs in the films. Like a lot of the songs that they're dancing to have meaning to them. So I think about the background of that song, and I think about the background of the film, and I try to express everything and not just the dance to the song.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Have you ever done choreography for other skaters?
No, I mean, I haven't really thought of marketing myself in that sense yet because I've been just focusing on my own self. But if the opportunity comes and someone trusts me enough, I would love to.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I think your own skating is a good marketing tool of your ability as a choreographer. So
Yeah.
um, I wanted to ask you, are there skaters that you especially admire or, want to model yourself on?
I've actually realized that there are not many skaters who are built like me or have had the same background as I have. So I
Mhm.
don't think I can really model myself after someone. However, I have skaters that I admire a lot, like Yuna Kim and Carolina Kostner. And I like Yuna Kim because I just think she blends the technical and artistic part of skating so well. And I don't know if anyone does it like her. And Carolina Kostner, I like her because she has a really good jump technique and she's also built like me.
Mhm.
So I can kind of look at her for, I guess, inspiration on like spin positions and movement because she's also extremely artistic. So I can say that, but I think I can only model myself as the best version of my own self. I can't really make myself into someone else.
Smart. Yeah. And when did you move to Colorado Springs to train? How long have you been there?
2017. But then I spent some time in India, which was like around half a year because that's when I had the injury on my ankle. But after I recovered from that for the last around 3.5 to 4 years, I've just been here constantly, no moving anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the training environment like in Colorado Springs? Do you work with, your own coach? Do you ever do things in groups with other skaters, or what is your typical training like?
I mean, my coach does do group classes when they're doing off ice, or sometimes they have things where they'll call a bunch of skaters together and they'll say, everyone go do a jump. It's kind of like a friendly competition.
Yeah.
But usually the lesson itself is private. So it's just you and your coach, and you have so many lessons a day from so many coaches.
Yeah. Um, and I saw that you like doing rock climbing as well.
Yes.
Have you gotten to do that some this summer?
Yes, I was just climbing outside last weekend
That's
and I climb indoors a lot because mostly because of the time that I have is not much. So I am only usually doing it mostly indoors, but I love doing it outdoors more than indoors. So that's definitely, if I had more time, I would be outside all the time. Yeah.
I mean, you live in a beautiful place for doing that. And it's it seems like it's an interesting sport to combine with skating though, because at least on the surface level, it seems very different and you're using your upper body so much. And but is that part of the attraction for you, or do you see any connection between the two activities?
Honestly, I just do it because it's fun and it's a good cross training. I mean, if you look at other climbers who do it a lot more than I do, their upper body is more built than me because I'm a skater, so I have more lower body strength, of course. But honestly, when I'm climbing, I have friends there and they're just like, they don't know about skating, or if they do, like they don't know much about it. So it's kind of like I can separate my life. Like I can have a friend and I can have a community and I can have fun in something that doesn't have to do with skating. So it's like a good balance of life for me. So yes.
Yeah, that's great. Um, so you're definitely, the top skater from India right now, and I'm wondering what that is like in terms of getting attention from people, the media or other sports fans, in India. And as it's a very small sport, skating is there but growing, and just, what's that like for you?
I mean, yes, it's very small in India, so people don't really know much about it. I guess when I go for the national championship, obviously people know who I am, and I talk to some news outlets, and then I get to have fun with all my friends on the team. But outside of that, no one is really aware of skating yet. And I hope in the next, I guess, few years or decades or how much ever it takes, it will grow and more people will know what skating is.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Yuna Kim, and I think about, the how much having, successful skaters can really inspire, younger generations. And now Korea is, a leading skating nation, and that was not the case. And so, maybe it'll take a while, but hopefully you will also inspire others to want to do it.
Yes, and I hope India builds a good facility as well, because right now the rink there is pretty much not good enough for a good training place. So actually one of my goals in life is I want to build a rink there and build a whole facility there so skaters can skate. And I want to create an environment that skaters can grow. And that's a long time in the future because it will cost a lot of money and take time and you have to form connections and stuff. But that's one of my life goals.
Yeah, oh, that would be amazing. Because there's just one year-round rink in India, is that right? Is that there's one near Delhi?
Yeah, the one near Delhi is also half the size of a normal rink.
Oh, okay.
And they don't really have even the skaters there. They're borrowing skates from someone else. Their skate doesn't fit there. A lot of the skaters are actually roller skaters, and then I've seen them, they take the rental skates for nationals and then they try to do single and double jumps. And it's not only is it difficult, but it's also not safe. But that's the best they can do because India doesn't really have the resources. So if we can get a good resource of a rink that's the ice is well maintained and people have good equipment, then that would be the first step to growing the skating there.
Definitely. Is there support from like the Olympic Committee or anything toward trying to, have more of a presence in Olympics, in like the Winter Olympics? Like, do you get support from the Federation or the Olympic Committee?
In terms of what, like,
Oh, just like financial support or that kind of thing. Yeah.
no. um,
So it's hard for a lot of the smaller federations. A lot of skaters don't. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. I guess I understand it because India is not like the big sport there is cricket,
Yeah.
and even like track and field athletes get support. But for winter sports, there's really not much because it's not really recognized. So we kind of have to fund everything ourselves, and we need to rely on help from family or anyone who can give us money. And then if you want to get a good training, you need to leave India and go somewhere else, which is also expensive. So that's another reason why it's a bit difficult, but hopefully in the future it'll get better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, it's a process, and it takes time, and we can see with places, like I said, Korea, but you can see, I think Thailand is starting to grow more skaters and have better facilities. And so, it's definitely possible over time, but definitely challenging, to be one of the pioneers like you are.
Yes, actually, I admire a lot Ami Parek because she was actually the first one before me to compete in the ISU championship. And she has done, I guess, more significant stuff than me because she was the first one. So I admired what she did as well because she also went to four continents and went to international competitions, and she has become one of my friends, and I feel lucky that I can talk to her.
Great. Yeah, nice. So what will this coming season be like for you? What do you know where you're going to go to compete first? Or I guess you said you did one small competition already, but yeah, what's the next few months like for you?
Well, I have been entered into the Cranberry Cup and then also the I'm planning to do the competition in LA in the US, the Fall Classic one. After that, I'm not really sure yet, but
Yeah.
of course the Four Continents is there and I will go there. So
Yeah.
hopefully. I don't really have much else planned in terms of that, but that's what is coming soon.
No, that sounds great. I will see you at Cranberry Cup then, because I will be there at that one.
Yes.
Well, exciting. Well, thank you so much for giving us all of these updates. It's nice to get to hear a little bit about what's going on with you, and wish you all of the best for the coming season.
Thank you. Thank you for talking with me.